My heart felt like it was going to burst through my t-shirt, and my legs were shaking, as they'd done when I'd been sitting at an awkward angle on the edge of my chair in school. I held out my hand. It was still. I'd look like a 17-year-old who'd never done this before, but who thought, because he'd been funny at school and with his pals, that he could do it. I noticed a drawing of Homer Simpson that someone had doodled. It was impressive how accurate it was, and it made me think of Homer, which made me smile. 5 minutes, and this is over. I needed to make this worth it. Think of Homer, I kept repeating to myself, smiling, trying to keep at least calm enough to get to the microphone.
And please welcome Kevin Bridges!
I was out of the traps and off before it had even hit me how surreal it was to hear my name announced over a PA system, followed by the sound of a crowd applauding. I couldn't see anything. I could only make out enough to get up on the stage. I took the microphone out. Everyone else had removed the microphone and then lifted the stand out of their way. I'd made a note to do this, but I'd forgotten, being too preoccupied with getting my opening line out.
"It's good to be here,"
I said, from nowhere. No good evening or hello.
"I'm only 17 and I just got sold a pint at that bar, so get it up, ye."
The audience burst into a huge laugh, like a real fucking belly laugh. It surprised me how loud it was, like I'd really said something funny. I quickly followed it up with the get it up ye gesture, left hand across the bicep of the right arm. It was a thing myself and a boy from a college class, Ryan, used to do to each other every morning. We'd laugh at how universally offensive it was, but how it made no sense, and wonder where it originated. The crowd kept on laughing. It didn't feel like a separate laugh. They'd continued, their laughter rolling on from my first line. I was almost panicking, but every note I'd taken down, every little thought I'd had kept coming to me, racing down from my head, but managing to form an orderly cue to get out of my mouth. I could have easily melted and mumbled everything out, an incoherent remix of every note I'd taken, rather than a routine. I suddenly thought about what to do with my other hand, my left hand, when I was speaking. I panicked that I was even thinking about that, and quickly placed it across my chest and into my right armpit. It must have looked awkward and a little unorthodox, but I felt I could self-destruct at any second. The slightest thing could throw me, and I had to keep pushing through, to keep this momentum going.
17! It's a shite age.
The audience's laugh grew louder again, and I was learning to pause, to let them laugh, to think whilst they laughed.
"I'm old enough to legally have sex, but I'm too young to legally watch porn."
Another laugh. I remember feeling relieved that I'd decided to add in legally. I don't know why, but it sounded better, and the joke worked. My first idea for a routine.
"You can maybe tell by looking at me that I don't really get my fair share of the action,"
I added, before pausing again and looking down at myself. The crowd seemed to really laugh, and I made eye contact with the very front table, where a guy was laughing uncontrollably. I couldn't fucking believe this was happening. I started laughing myself, then the crowd laughed again, even louder.
"Not only can I not get any, I'm not even allowed a wee swatch at the topless darts."
The crowd broke into applause. The applause really threw me. Suddenly, it was like I was determined to sabotage myself, but I knew I couldn't let this go. I didn't want to even think about my dad sitting there watching. My mind then went totally blank, as the reality of what was going on finally caught up on me. I looked around, back at the guy who'd been laughing. He was smiling and leaning in for the next line, looking like he'd have laughed at anything I said next, but I couldn't think of anything to say. It seemed like ages.
"If you could just keep laughing at that one until I think of something else."
This made the crowd erupt again, at the audacity of it all. They knew it was amateur night, but this was a trick shot, something a professional would maybe say, knowing full well they had control over the crowd, and knowing full well what they'd say next. I didn't feel in control, but I didn't have a clue where it came from. It was instinct almost. The adrenaline and the warmth from the crowd had bailed me out. I started my Glasgow tour bus joke. The first laugh had stopped and I'd reset. I didn't know how long I'd been speaking for, but I hadn't noticed any light flashing. In fact, I didn't know what light I was to look out for, so I'd figured I'd do my tour bus idea and then finish, hoping it had been 5 minutes.
"I can understand Edinburgh having a tour bus. They have the castle and the Scott Monument."
I didn't know what the Scott Monument was. I'd asked my dad a few days before for some examples of Edinburgh landmark attractions other than the castle, and he'd rattled a few off, not asking why I was asking, but now he'd know.
"What have we got though?" On your left, you'll see a vandalised phone box. And if you look to your right, you'll see a famous Glasgow tradition, the midday rammy. Imagine trying to explain to a bus full of tourists why there appears to be a youth chasing a man with a golf club, shouting "Monin!" The crowd applauded again. The light flashed. I had been on for 4 minutes. I finished by saying I was getting a lift home because I kept getting an unwanted erection on the bus, which led me into my routine about walking down from the back of the bus like a duck, with a hard-on tucked between my legs. I always have to tuck it and duck it. I mimicked the walk, crouched over with my arse sticking out. This made the crowd applaud louder than the first few times. Ladies and gentlemen, I started to wrap up. I'd never said ladies and gentlemen before, but it was showbiz, in the same mould as good evening, and I was part of it now. Thanks for listening. Good night.